All right. This court is now in session. My name is Chief Magistrate Jeshin Vidal. For the prosecution, who do we have?
What's prosecution?
The prosecution would be the people that are going to say what you did wrong and why you done did it. Uh, Prosecution, what's your name?
Senior Constable Mikey Pumps Lewis, Your Honor.
Say that again.
Senior
Mikey what?
Constable Mikey Pumps Lewis, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm going to call you Mikey Lewis for the sake of my wrist as I'm typing this in on my tablet. And your co-counsel's name is?
Senior Constable Finn, you see.
You want to speak up a little bit? I'm quite far away.
Senior Constable Finn, you see.
Finn UC. Perfect. Okay, defense. That would be you in the white suit with the pink hair. What is your name?
My name is Bailey T-Wagon.
Oh dear, a alumni of the T-Wagon family. Isn't your grandfather, great-great-grandfather, and/or father the current inspector of police?
I don't know. I've never met him.
That's unfortunate. Are you going to be
Doesn't call on
self-representing?
Christmas. Don't call on birthdays. I am going to be self-representing. I ain't got nobody in this world, Your Honor.
Okay, that's I sympathize with you, Mr. T-Wagon. Okay, so here's how it's going to work. The prosecution is going to explain what happened, why it is a crime, and how they know beyond a reasonable doubt that Mr. T-Wagon over here done did it. After the prosecution explains this thing, the defense will focus on their defense. I highly advise that the defense focus on beyond a reasonable doubt that they personally committed the crime, and they focus on whether Vic Pol knows if a crime was committed. Complaints about policy, procedure, and other conduct is not relevant to your guilt or not guilt. However, you should go to IBAC or police leadership if you have a concern. It will not affect the outcome of your case. If you would like to object, then you may do so, but please wait until they finish their statement. That way we know what they were going to say. Any questions?
What does object mean?
It means that you don't like what they said and you don't think it's relevant to the case. Prosecution, any questions?
Negative.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, prosecution, if you would please like to start your case by confirming that one of the arresting officers is standing behind that desk.
I am the arresting officer, Your Honor.
Perfect. Then you may present your case. Please tell me the charge.
Alrighty, so the charges today are kidnapping, engage in a police pursuit / evade police, and armed robbery, Your Honor.
Alrighty, you may present your case. Thank you.
Alrighty. On the 25th of the 10th, 2022, at exactly 12:01 p.m., the Victorian Police Force got an alert on our CAD that a silent alarm had gone off at the Grove Street 7-Eleven store. Multiple units then proceeded to head down to this alert to check up on what was happening. And when we arrived on scene, we saw So what's the name of the
It's Bailey. My name is Bailey.
We saw the Bailey T-Wagon on scene in store, pointing and wielding a weapon towards the clerk. We then proceeded to alert Miss Bailey to drop the weapon.
Objection, I am a man.
Please refer to Mr. T-Wagon as the defendant or Mr. In the future. Thank you. Continue.
The defendant, we alerted the defendant to lower the weapon and come out with their hands up. Then they proceeded to yell out, I have a hostage, and continue to wield the weapon towards the clerk. The defendant then lowered the weapon and started negotiations with the officer to my left, Senior Constable Vanusi. I have ample body cam footage of this event, including photo evidence of the vehicle, photo evidence of the call on CAD, and photo evidence of the defendant dancing around wielding a weapon. We continue with the
Please hold one moment. In the interest of seeing if we have to process all that evidence, Mr. T-Wagon,
Yes, sir.
at this time, do you concur that what he has described is true? Were you at the scene, and do you believe that they have evidence of you performing certain acts? When will you stipulate to them?
I do not concur. What is
Okay.
concur mean?
That you're fine. You do not agree that the events have happened as they have stated so far.
I do not agree.
Okay, great. What we're going to do here is prosecution. Are you currently in the court email?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm just going to bring you into an evidence email thread, and you'll start dumping it in there. While doing so, please continue.
Right, so we continued negotiations with the defendant here, with my officer on the left, and then the defendant then requested that the officer was changed to Miss Skylar Gray. Continued negotiations with the negotiations off. The negotiations were a free passage, and the defendant requested a bicycle pursuit, which was denied due to time reasons. The pursuit started around 12:06 p.m. on the 25th of the 10th, 2022, which ended up with midway during the pursuit, most officers had a little problem with their cars, and we all had to fly back in. Which I was the officer who flew back in first and found the defendant running down a bridge. Then I proceeded to tackle and cuff the defendant. And that's where we have led to today.
Okay, apparently my evidence thing is not working. If you would please go into the court Discord, find my email name, and email me all the evidence, I'll begin reviewing it. However, if the prosecution is done, sans the evidence, will allow the defense to begin presenting their case while I vet it.
Okay, Your Honor, the prosecution clearly does not know whether or not I am a man or a woman. So how can we trust that the prosecution knows that it was even me at the scene? In their evidence, can they clearly see my beautiful mustached face? Can they hear my... Well, actually, don't answer that one. Can they see my beautiful mustached face? At any point, do they look at my direct bare face? Because I was not at the scene, and I was just manhandled on a bridge by the cops, who were just like, oh my God, you did this. And I did not, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. T-Wagon, your contention is that you were never at the scene. You were standing in a location nearby, and the police attacked you, arrested you, and you had not seen them previously. That is your defense.
Nope. I mean, yep. They didn't even ask for my identification.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They didn't even know my name when they were pleading their cases, sir.
Mm-hmm. Prosecution. Did you at any time lose eyes on the suspect that fled from the robbery?
When we all did unfortunately have a pop to our head, yes, but I found that the defendant on the right exactly where the situation happened, and they were in the exact same clothing they were while they robbed the clerk at the store.
I'm clearly in a nice suit, sir.
So, just to clarify this, there was a head pop by the defendant or a head pop by an officer?
By majority of the officers, but I'm unsure about the defendant.
Okay. To the defendant, where were you at the time that you claimed that you were not at the robbery? So you were at a location, you had been there, what were you doing?
I was being a very wealthy man like I am and perusing the gold lot.
Understandable. All right. Um, when you arrested the defendant here, did they have a weapon matching the weapon of the suspect in the store?
Yes, Your Honor, and I still have that weapon on. Actually, no, that weapon has been placed in the police armory.
That is fine. And at the time of arrest, they had the exact same attire as the person in this video of the armed robbery.
Yes, Your Honor, we did offer the defendant a suit to look a bit more dressed up for this occasion, but the most recent piece of evidence I am going to send you will contain us walking the defendant into the station down below in the clothing scene in the first piece of evidence.
Objection.
What is your objection?
I don't like that.
Okay. So just for the record, this video body cam is inadmissible as it does not reach the length of time required. However, the still images are admissible and they have been entered into the record. Let the record show that the first still image shows two officers standing outside of a gas station with a pink-haired man with a gun in hand performing a dance at the counter. Let the record show that the second image shows a getaway vehicle with a local plate, appears to be a four-door black in color local vehicle. And let the record show that the third image shows the 000 call bringing the police to the armed robbery. Defense, do you have anything else to say for yourself, or are you done with your defense?
Your Honor, what is the required time for this evidence? Because I can have a longer version for you.
It won't be necessary. So still images and body cam are sufficient. The court system has existed for hundreds of years without video evidence, and we've gotten along just fine. Defense, is there anything else that you would like to say in your defense?
Your Honor, I am a simple man. I work and I clean pools. I sometimes do rugby. And I try to live my life in the big city as best I can and keep my head down. Do not look at my previous criminal history. I am innocent of what I have been accused, and I think that I just simply did not do it. Thank you. The end. Your Honor.
Okay. So, this case is interesting, to say the least. Just to confirm, did the suspect flee in a vehicle?
Yes,
Or
Your
were
Honor,
they
the
on
vehicle. Yes, Your Honor, the vehicle picture did turn into a foot pursuit at the end.
Yep, no, that's quite okay. Okay. So, first off, I would like to state for the record that there are professions in Victoria known as honorable professions. These professions swear an oath to uphold the law or serve the community. In the state of Victoria and in the court system, honorable profession testimony is considered reliable and true unless evidence is offered to the contrary. What this means is that if an officer says X happened and a defendant says Y happened, if there is no other evidence or the officer is able to answer all relevant questions, the court will believe the officer, which is why we deal with corruption so harshly given this trust we have placed in you. In this court case, the evidence is such that the suspect had a set of clothing. The officers have stated that the defendant was arrested in this clothing. The suspect had a weapon. The prosecution has attested that this weapon was found on the defendant, the same weapon shown in the picture of the suspect. The defense appears to be that officers are incompetent and don't know pronouns. Victoria Police, in the future, please be more sensitive to the fact that this is clearly a handsome, potentially wealthy man that has committed a crime. Mr. T-Wagon, you are hereby guilty of kidnapping, of evading police, and of armed robbery. Please take the defendant into custody.
At least I'm handsome.
That is on record, yes. Okay. The charges for such will be given in a moment. I'm just going to look up my fines.
Can somebody make sure they watch my dog Buckshot?
Alrighty then. Bailiff, for the charge of armed robbery, please issue the defendant a $3,000 fine. For the charge of invading police and or engaging in a police pursuit, please issue the defendant a $5,000 fine.
Oh.
For the charge of kidnapping, I believe the kidnappee was a store clerk, is that correct?
Yes,
I don't
Your
know.
Honor.
I wasn't there.
Please issue the defendant a $5,000 fine, as store clerks are not only blind, deaf, dumb, and stupid, but they stand there 24/7 for you to buy anything you like. Please don't abuse them.
I'm sorry.
Mr. T-Wagon will be hereby remanded to his magistrate's remand center for no less than 50 weeks. Case adjourned.